fine with it, yeah. Don't let them say different, yeah. Study working hard for that bankroll. 5'5", my type is well known. Bad bitch, big bank, that's a combo. Study worth $1 million when she throw that back.
Yeah, throw that ass back like a quarterback. Gotta grab it on her chest like a heart attack. Hey, she want other ass. Big bills, I got her that. She call me daddy, you cannot have your daughter back. Voicemail ain't calling back. Love the way she be crawling back. Yeah, she ain't fucking with no broke boy, she got a bag. Hey, Gucci bag, you know, about to get her two more. When you clock out, baby, I got the two-door.
Come here, baby, you mine. Let's not waste no time. I ain't come for no fights. I'm not here for one night. So throw that ass back. Throw that ass back. Throw that ass back. Throw that ass. I ain't here to waste your time. I'm here for good. Made it. Cancel all your guys as you take it.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. I am your host, Brian Barnaby, and I am joined by Matt, Tony, our super producer, Mike, and via FaceTime, Gino.
Only one more day or 2 more days of quarantine, then I'm out of this room and this mess that I've made for myself.
And also, Grasso is going to join us as usual to talk some NBA.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of stuff to cover. We'll start with baseball today. And as we continue our division previews onto the National League Western Division. And we'll start in Los Angeles with the defending world champion Dodgers. And once again, what an impressive roster. Really don't lose any big pieces, and they add the reigning Cy Young Award winner in Trevor Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're stacked, dude. Their pitching, their starting rotation might be the best in major leagues, dude.
Yeah, I could say so. You can definitely argue that.
And then, they didn't really lose anybody. All they lost was Kike Hernandez went to Boston, and then Seager went to, Peterson went to Chicago.
Yeah.
But, dude, even on offense, man, all around, the Dodgers are just loaded. Mookie Betts, Seager. Dude, Seager last year went off, obviously shortened season, but had the best average on the team, 328. And then, dude, Mookie Betts is just a beast. This Bellinger, up and down, the Dodgers are just fucking loaded. So,
yeah.
They're going to have another sick year.
Yeah, dude. And even if you're lucky enough to even get a hit off one of those pitchers, they have two of some of the best outfielders in the league that are probably going to rob that home run from you.
Right.
So
dude, they're nasty,
dude.
Bellinger and Betts.
Oh, my God. And I honestly think this roster might be the best roster we've seen on any team maybe in the past 10 years.
Yeah,
you just think about the depth, all the all-stars, and Betts. I mean, I feel like, did they really give up that much to get him with Alex Verdugo?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
the Dodgers won that.
And we saw how quickly Boston went downhill. I mean, that was just crazy for them to do. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
and Betts fit right in to the Dodgers, bro.
And he signs that mega deal too, dude, with that 10 years. Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there for probably the rest of his career.
And then a couple other things, you kind of don't really think of. I guess David Price, he came over in the Betts trade. I guess he's playing this year after opting out last year. Kind of interesting to see how he fares, in the National League now.
Mm-hmm.
Now he doesn't have to face the Yankees. I'm sure he's pumped about that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
But, they don't need much out of him. I guess he'll be their 4 or 5 starter.
Right. I mean, they have 2 other Cy Young Award winners, so.
And then Walker Buehler is probably a future Cy Young Award winner. And then also for the bullpen, Tommy Kahnle, the former Yankee, comes over.
That's solid.
Probably not going to pitch till the end of the year, if at all, but they have him on a 2-year deal, so that's a big move.
And Tommy John, right? In August.
Tommy John. Yeah. And then Corey Kneeble, that was an interesting one. It has been rough the last couple of years, but you look at, I think it was 2017, he probably led the majors in strikeouts per 9 innings as a reliever, I think 127 or something in 70 innings.
Yeah.
He was actually considered better than Josh Hader at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Hader's crazy, dude. He's so nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But and even their bullpen too, the Dodgers.
Yeah, they have it to back up their starters, dude.
Joe Kelly, dude. And then Jansen coming in to close games.
Dustin May as
Jansen,
well, too.
Dude, I gotta say, if I'm a Dodgers fan, I get a little nervous when he comes.
Yeah, so do I, dude.
Right?
I mean, the guy throws 2 pitches, and he doesn't even do that too well.
He gets himself into trouble.
Yeah,
he gives up a lot of big home runs.
Yeah,
I would actually have Blake Trinan be the closer instead.
Jansen
I don't
get
know.
set up, man.
What do you
Yeah,
guys
that
think
makes
about
more
that?
sense.
Yeah, I would agree.
Take some pressure off him. He just, like we say, he doesn't have the overpowering fastball anymore. I think relies on the changeup. But if guys are sitting on that, see you later.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
So with the Dodgers, before we move on, do you guys see really any weaknesses, or do you feel like this is really pretty likely they end up back in the World Series?
I mean, I think it's they have as good a chance as anybody, obviously, and better than most of the National League to get back to the World Series. They're definitely, I've said, the best team in the National League.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, in terms of weaknesses, I mean, they have the same team pretty much as last season. And I know it was a shortened season, but had it been a full season last year, they were on track to get 116 wins, which would have tied for the most winning team during the regular season. So, I mean, I would expect the same thing this year.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you guys. And it was funny, too, before the title last year, everyone had kind of talked about Clayton Kershaw not getting over the hump, as well as Dave Roberts. Is he overrated? And now all that goes away, and the pressure's, off of them. And then, on to the Padres.
Gino, what do you think about Dodgers?
I mean,
that's my bad, Gino.
No,
it's
Gino.
all good. It's all good. It's okay. I think for the Dodgers, I think it's they've got to win 100 games. You'd think, right? I mean, I think it's probably a disappointment if they don't win 100 games this year, and I think it's a disappointment if they don't get back to the World Series. I mean, I think that they're easily the best team in the NL. I don't see too many teams giving them too hard of a time. And like you said, they return a lot of people. They get Price to add to Bauer, Kershaw, Buehler. The bullpen gets better. Canley, I know originally they said 9 to 12 months, so I'm assuming that he'll probably be back by the end of this season. So that'll add. I mean, that'll be perfect for them. That'll just add to their already dominant team. And I think the only way they don't is if Canley Jansen blows enough games in the playoffs for them not to make the World Series. I think that's the only way that they don't make the World Series. Again, I think they're the one team, at least in the NL, that doesn't have any questions. Everybody on that team is going to be good. You don't know how the Mets are going to be. You don't know how the Braves are going to be. You don't know how some of these other NL teams are going to be. The Dodgers are going to come out and they're going to be good. They're probably going to win 100 games. So I think it should get back to the World Series.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
perfectly said,
we all
Gino.
got Dodgers in the World Series.
Yeah.
No, I had Padres.
All right.
You do.
Speaking of the Padres.
Speaking of.
What a great segue, Barnes.
What an offseason, though, for the Padres. I mean, you want to talk about moves. I think they made more moves than the rest of the league combined. It felt like. You trade for Darvish. You trade for Blake Snell. You signed Tatis Jr. that mega deal. And what a deal that is for them.
My God,
I think that's a bargain,
Dude,
honestly.
14 years, right?
Yeah,
with
$340 million.
$340 million, no trade
Bargain,
clause,
right?
no opt-out, it seems, right?
He'll be there I bet he'll be there the entire time.
Dude, he's committed,
love
obviously.
him, dude.
And I just feel like, I think I might have said this in another episode, but I feel like had he signed this in 3 or 4 years, that would be double.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I agree with you, dude. I think they made the most moves out of more than every other team combined. They really are. They're going all in, dude. They got Snell, they got Darvish, like you said, and then they Tatis to that mega deal. Dude, don't forget about Manny Machado. They have Hosmer, dude. Their infield is fucking loaded. And dude, I have them finishing second to the Dodgers in the NL West.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And maybe they'll get a wild card.
Yeah. But see, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because as good as they are,
they might not even make.
They might not even, dude. And they're I could see them winning 100 games as well this season, and then they're gonna all that whole season.
That's will get the wild.
And then exactly, dude. They're gonna fucking face DeGrom in a wild card game and obviously lose, and then their season's over.
Well, man, come on, dude.
Because Blake Snell won't get through 5.
No, exactly, dude. So, but yeah, dude, they're fucking stacked.
Get pulled.
So I really like what they've done. And I think a big key to their season, we know the production's going to be there from Tatis and Machado. My question would be, is Eric Hosmer, we saw it in a shortened season, kind of come back a little bit. His first 2 years or 3 years had been a disappointment, since signing that big deal. Right. So I would question, can him and Will Myers, who had struggled for years and then finally had a decent year last year, can they offer the protection in the lineup so that everybody doesn't just pitch around Tatis and Machado?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the Padres' biggest question when it comes to their batting lineup. But I don't know, man. We'll have to see because Hosmer, like you said, he's kind of been like inconsistent
Right.
Mhm.
last few seasons. So last year's a shortened year, so
Right.
I'll take that for what it is. But that's probably their biggest question. So
I think Hosmer will pull out a little bit more this year. I mean, since he got traded from Kansas City, he was kind of on the down. But the past 2 years, he's been like improving,
Right.
yeah.
So I mean, you would assume with everything the Padres have going for them, like he's going to be even more motivated and continue that kind of improving, kind of theme there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Gino, what are you seeing from the Padres?
The thing for me with the Padres is the fact that they won't have Clevenger. I think that's a huge loss for them. I think that puts them a spot alone behind the Dodgers, because the Dodgers rotation, I mean, when they get in the playoffs, the four guys you're gonna have to face are, reigning Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, David Price, all guys who are aces on any other team in the league. And while they have Darvish and Snell, I'm not sold that Darvish is going to be, I feel like he probably takes a step back. Snell will be really good, but I think having Clevenger would have really, really helped them. On the Tatis contract, it's just crazy to me, and this was brought up in one of the Snapchat groups I'm with with a couple other buddies. Fernando Tatis has had 558 total at-bats in his Major League Baseball career. Mookie Betts signed a contract when he signed for the Dodgers for 12 years, $365 million with over 3,000 at-bats. And Trout similarly signed for 426. He's the best player in baseball. Signed for 426 million, had tons of at-bats. It's crazy that they're signing him to a $340 million extension, but I mean, he has shown that he is, a face of the franchise type of guy. And, like you said, if he keeps on this trajectory, it could look like a bargain in 5 years. So, but yeah, for the Padres, I'm not sold that their lineup's as good as the Dodgers, and I'm not sold that their pitching is going to be enough to keep up with the Dodgers with Clevenger out.
Yeah, I agree. If they had Clevenger, man, imagine that. Dude, their rotation would stock up really nice as one of maybe the top three.
I think I think that's the thing, just without Clevenger, it's weird without them.
And another thing, besides we were saying, the support in the order, I think a big part will be Chris Paddock. We saw him have an impressive rookie year. If he could be the 3 starter, I mean, that'll be a big boost for them because you need at least, 3 quality stars. You can kind of fill out the rotation with the other guys. So that's something I'm looking at. And also, who's going to be the closer? I mean, I guess they've said maybe Drew Pomeranz, but they also brought in Melanson. So I think you want to stabilize that 9th inning.
Yeah, I mean, if Drew Pomeranz is their closer, that's probably an issue, right?
Yeah. I mean, I
want that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a closer, but Melanson, though, has closed before. He's been a couple time All-Star, former Yankee, actually, way back. So I would side with that, and then have Pomeranz, come in for that lefty heavy inning. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel confident, though, no matter what, they're definitely going to make the playoffs, which 2 years in a row after last year, surprisingly getting in. I mean, that would be a big boost for the franchise.
Yeah, good young team. Dude.
They're a really young team. We're kind of talking more in the short term, but I mean, they're going to be like a contending team for quite a few seasons.
After struggling for so long. So that's kind of refreshing.
Especially with and then even when Machado came, he was struggling, they looked really down, he was signed a big deal too. So
I give the Padres credit though, dude. They know what they want. They trade for Clevenger last year. They trade for Snell, dude. They signed Tatis.
They're just going for it.
Exactly. Yeah, sunny San Diego.
And then, on to another team in the division. And the rest of these teams in the division are going to have a tough time thinking about the teams we just previewed. They're going to have to play them 38 times. That's going to be that's going to be pretty tough. So the first team we're going to look at is the Colorado Rockies, and big story of the offseason. They trade Arenado to the Cardinals, and they don't get anything back. And I think they gave him $50 million.
They gave him and cash. Yeah, dude. They got couple no name, like I wouldn't say no names, but like 3 pitchers, 2 infielders.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they got bodies, I
No, they got
guess, but I
shit.
mean, like, what are you
Yeah.
trying to develop?
The owner had to come out and the
Yeah.
fans were just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
was
dude.
that?
I mean, I get like Arenado, like the relationship between Arenado and the
Yeah,
Rockies
I
was
don't-
getting
Yes.
Yeah.
rocky. And then on top of that, they had Trevor Story, like knocking on the door trying to get paid. So like they had to kind of make a decision, and it seemed like Arenado had a bad taste in his mouth. So like
Yeah, I think so
at that
too.
point, like, what do you want? Some guy who doesn't want to play for you,
Right.
like be playing for you? Like
Right.
it's just not going to work. So
It's crazy to think too. Like the Rockies a few years back were they were in the wild card game.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's Arizona. So just ever since then, it's just been downhill. They get rid of Arenado obviously for fucking shit,
right.
and then dude, like I know 3 players on this roster, dude: Desmond, Blackman, and maybe that's
Story.
it. And Story.
And
Trevor Story.
Desmond actually just opted out again.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
that's
a
right.
big
Yeah,
loss.
Desmond's outside again.
So you look at the offense, that's going to be led
Yeah.
by Trevor Story, Charlie
Right.
Blackman, who's
Right.
been one of the more underrated players,
Yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
league.
Yeah,
Rotation, not really many big names.
No.
Marquez, Freeland, and Gray, and pitching in cores. We saw Mike Hampton go back there way back when the big
Right.
free agent contract. Hard to do. Gino, you see any hope for the Rockies this year, or you think it's going to be a long rebuilding process?
I think it's gonna be very long because I can't see Story sticking around too long, and I would imagine Blackman will probably get out of there as soon as he can too. I just think they've kind of, with the Arenado trade and not doing anything since that wild card appearance, I feel like they've kind of sent themselves a little bit downhill and probably put them in bad standing with some of their players. They don't have anybody there. There's just like literally nobody there. I can't see them winning more than 70 games.
Yeah. I mean, not too much to get excited about. And you look at it, I mean, they've had 4 winning seasons since they made the World Series in 2007. So they've been in this holding pattern for a while. Usually they're not one of the worst teams in the league, but they're not in the playoffs either. So that's just kind of a tough spot to be in. So I wouldn't, really expect much out of them this year. And on to another team that I wouldn't really expect much out of this year, the San Francisco Giants. I mean, what do they have to look forward to this year? I mean, they're a team, we saw them last decade. They win 3 World Series.
Killed it.
And now it's like they still have some of those guys, but they're all not good anymore.
Yeah, I mean that reign is obviously over. That
Yeah.
you can call it a dynasty, but like it was like a period of time.
I think 3 and 5 years.
3 and
Yeah,
5.
well, no, it was 2010,
10, 12, and
12,
14. I think that's
Wasn't it?
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the
No, I
even
think-
years. I remember it was like
It was either the even years or the odd years. One or the other. Everybody was making a big deal out of it.
they
Not
won.
here,
They
so.
won in 2010, and then
12,
2012,
14,
yeah.
yeah.
Gino.
So dude, yeah, but I mean, Barnes, like you said, dude, I don't really know. The Giants, they have a few names in that rotation: Cueto, Aaron Sanchez. Obviously, in terms of offense, who do they have? I mean, Evan Longoria is like old.
Gino's
old
holding
now.
a card up. Can you guys look at it?
What card we got?
What
Gino?
about-
Buster
got?
Posey.
Joey
Posey.
Bart rookie card. That's
Joey
all that needs to matter for the Giants this year. Joey Bart just needs to hit for 300. That's it.
Like,
Good point.
And Bart, I mean, he's probably the future of the organization. He was
Yeah.
the number 2 overall pick in 2018. And Posey, last year of his deal, comes back after opting out last year. So I think it'll be big to have him mentor him and prepare him for a long career.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge, dude. Especially because I think Posey, this is his last year, most likely with the Giants, right? I mean, after his contract is up, like given his performance, and given that they have
He'll
Bart
probably
too,
retire.
like yeah, he
Like,
might
you think.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you can only hope that he has a good last year with them, given that all he's done for them and shit. But
Yeah.
I guess
Three
we'll see,
three
dude.
rings for him in that time.
Yeah.
I would imagine that probably by game 81, somewhere around there between like 80 and 90, that they'll probably move on to Joey Bart anyway. I can't see any way Buster Posey gets a full season there or a full season as the starter unless the Giants magically somehow do really well this season and he's hitting well. That'd be
And
really
he's
the only way.
in the past too, so maybe he'll get a few games there
Right.
this season. So, and I think this is one of those things. Maybe they get off to a tough start, and then they try to move whoever has value. They probably hope Cueto, can bounce back.
Right.
DeSclafani and Alex Wood, in the past have had good years. So maybe they start pitching. Well, teams are always looking to acquire pitching around the deadline. So that's probably the only hope they have, and really just do a full rebuild and just get all those, older veterans out of there.
Yeah. This just in from Chuck Scott. Is that a pile of trash in the back of Geno's?
I think are those your golf clubs, dude?
Come on, Chuck.
Pile of trash.
I mean, there's a couple bags back there, yeah, but they have stuff in them. So
I tried to tell you to clean your room.
Bro, I was telling you, bro. Like, you're on camera, dude. Like, it's pretty serious, dude. You're just.
I'm trying to connect with the people at home. I want them to know. Look,
Bob, you're pissing people off, dude. You're pissing people off.
Just sit them all.
Tomorrow, like, we know you're clean tomorrow. You know what? I've had enough of this. It'll be clean tomorrow.
All right.
We'll see about that.
Well, now you gotta clean it now. Yeah. Now you gotta.
But speaking of trash, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Barnes.
Four playoff appearances since winning that World Series in 2001. And they're another team. I mean, you look at this team, what do you look forward to this season? I don't really see much talent-wise.
They don't really have much either. I mean, they have Calhoun,
Marte.
Marte. Yeah.
Eddie Escobar.
Yeah. I mean, they have Bumgarner.
Peralta's
Bumgarner, who got lit up last year.
So he is a bum, dude. Honestly, like, I mean, you see, like, he had like a serious dip in velocity the past few years, and he's not kind of like normally. Obviously, older pitchers do see that, but then you kind of adjust. You hit him with your off-speed pitches a little bit, and he's not adjusting, dude. Like, he's giving up a massive amount of home runs. Like, he's not at all what the Diamondbacks wanted from him, and unless he does like some, not to mention I think he has a bad attitude. Like, once he gets in his own head, like, he's done, dude. And it's terrible because, like, he was a fucking postseason master for the Giants,
World Series.
And
remember they brought him in that to win that game. Like,
is that
dude.
Game 7?
Yeah,
okay.
Game 7.
And
I think so.
He was ice cold, bro. And like now you just see him struggling. It's kind of a shame. And unless he does like some major adjustments, both mentally and to like physically to his game as well, like. I just don't see I think he has 3 more years on his contract with them.
He just signed there. Yeah,
I don't know, dude. Diamondbacks are in a tough spot.
Yeah, we'll see if he can rebound Bumgarner in any way.
Gino, do you see any positives, on this Diamondbacks team?
I mean, David Peralta, it'll be good to see if he can have another good year because he had a good year last year. Ketel Marte is always, he's a stud too. But I think the Diamondbacks are the perfect example of a team that missed their window. They had that window of opportunity where they were good with Goldschmidt and some of those other players, and they really don't have much left there. I mean, I think it's probably time that they start rebuilding. If Bumgarner has a good year, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved to somebody, because as we just mentioned, teams need pitching. But I can't see them competing. But who knows? I mean, the Diamondbacks are one of those teams that they're kind of like the Brewers in the NL West. They're kind of just there. They're always there. They're always around the conversation. It'll be interesting to see how they pan things out this year.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so that they're the last team in the division that we'll cover. Now, as far as the picks, it seems like everyone is feeling the Dodgers to win. I have the Padres, but Gino, right? You think the Dodgers got it?
Yeah. I can't pick against the Dodgers in my right mind.
It would be exciting to see if the Padres give them a run for their money. It'd be exciting, down the stretch.
Yeah, sure. I don't think the Dodgers run away with it by 20 games, but I would imagine they probably win by 5 or 6. I would imagine by the middle of September they have it wrapped up.
Yeah, no, you'd think that, and it'll be interesting to see. And that's it for our baseball today. And tomorrow, we'll be on to the AL Central and exciting stuff to talk about with the White Sox
across the country, dude. Look at us,
and guys. Then as we go into next week, then we finally get to the East teams in the NL and AL, and we're all obviously excited for that. So
big NL East guy.
really looking forward to that. But moving on, Tony and Gino, you guys have some stuff on the NHL.
Yeah, man. A couple good stories coming out of the NHL this week. I want to start off with the Canadiens, who obviously, if you couldn't tell, Gino's hat is his favorite team. They fire their head coach, Claude Julien, as well as their associate coach, Kirk Mueller, I believe. The assistant coach kind of takes over with the assistant coach, Dominic Ducarme, I believe his last name. His fucking names are killing me,
A lot
dude.
of Italians.
Yeah, they kind
A lot of Guineas.
I would imagine. I think it's French. I don't know.
think it is
Maybe
French.
it's the harm.
Canadian.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot of Italian names on it. So
he
you gotta admit that.
but he there are, dude. But he was the Canada's head coach for the World Juniors in 2017 and 18, which they won silver and gold respectively. So it seems like the Canadians are in good hands, you know. But I just kind of wanted to get Gino's take on like what he kind of thought about them kind of getting rid of Julien at this point of this season as well. I mean, but they're not doing terrible. They're off to a pretty good start. They fizzed out a little bit. What were they, like 7-1, like to start off the season? And
a
little bit.
Each for the head coach.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, as I mentioned before, I did not realize that Claude Julien was the head coach of the Canadians for 5 years. So that was kind of a surprise to me. I honestly would have pegged it at like 2 or 3, maybe. But I mean, you lose 2 times to the Senators. That's a problem. Obviously, who knows what happens. The last game that they played, tough call. There was a goaltender interference call with about 3 seconds left to play that disallowed a Canadians goal. So that would have been a win. Who knows if they still end up firing Julien if that's the case. But I mean, things have looked bad. Their special teams has been awful. Their penalty kill and their power play just have been absolutely terrible. And they're undisciplined. They're very they get a lot of penalties. It feels like they're on the penalty kill 10 times a game sometimes. And as Chuck Scott has pointed out over here, Allen has played better than Price. Allen has played significantly better than Price. And I've had a couple, and I know I obviously joke around with Tony about Henrik Lundqvist and whatnot, but I've had the past couple of seasons, Price has been kind of shaky, and his excuse has been the defense. But this year, the defense is pretty solid. Obviously, playing 4-on-5, half the game is not ideal. But if, for example, in the Senators game, he gave up 3 really, really bad goals. So I think it's the right decision. Change things up a little bit. The team is there. They're young. They have a lot of talent, and they got to capitalize on that good start.
Yeah. How do you think Dominic's going to be doing? I mean, I would imagine he knows a lot of these players, coaching juniors and stuff. Like, you think the team can kind of get behind him? I think it's just third as the assistant coach too. So
so he like you said, he coached the Canada World Juniors, and Dubois from Winnipeg came out and spoke about it recently and said that he really liked him as a coach. He was very easy to talk to, very easy to understand, which is good for a lot of these young players because Canadians have a lot of young talent that need some help. Obviously, Nick Suzuki, I think, has worked with him already because he was on the juniors team. So I think that bringing him in, and it sounds like Mark Bergevin, this was his guy no matter what. Obviously, there was some talk that maybe he would have brought somebody else different in. With the the rules in Canada with COVID and whatnot, but he came out and said that this was his guy from the start, and he stands behind him. Obviously, Bergevin, he's been good in terms of free agents and picking up guys and trading guys and getting guys through the draft. But I guess you could say the one mark on him is his head coaching appointments. So this is on him, and if he, if this guy doesn't work out, then Bergevin's got a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on from the Canadians now. We actually have an update on a story we were talking about earlier in the week about Artemi Panarin for the New York Rangers. Accused of about 10 years ago when he was playing in the KHL still, beating up a woman at a bar, essentially. And from that, he took an indefinite leave from the Rangers. Obviously, him being, leading the team in points and everything is a big loss for them. But now we actually have 4 of his teammates coming out and talking about Panarin and saying how this is like they didn't know anything about this. It seems very unlike him. And essentially just kind of backing Panarin up, which is great, especially like when you think about the whole all the rumors about why this like story even came out, which is essentially that Panarin is bad mouthing the Russian government.
Right.
It's kind of cool to see, like KHL hockey players kind of coming up and defending him,
Yeah, his roommate came out and made some comments about the situation and kind of went through it. Obviously, he said that they weren't drunk, which I think was an allegation that was made during the original allegations. And he basically said, "Listen, there was an altercation with girls, but nothing physical. Maybe like a little shoulder, a little like push, like a shove, maybe a little bit, but nothing to the extent that they had." That they had talked about in this article, or that the coach had talked about. And again, like you said, it's good to see the Rangers backing him, some of his other teammates backing him. I mean, I think as the days go by, we start to realize that there's probably less and less truth to the situation, which is good because, obviously that's what you want. You want the truth. And, if Panarin didn't do anything wrong and there was nothing wrong, and apparently there isn't because there wasn't any police reports filed or anything, nobody can find any information on it. So, that's what you want, and you want to find the truth, and you don't want Panarin's reputation to be damaged for something that obviously he didn't do. Obviously if he did do it, then obviously he would deserve the consequences that he got, but it seems like that's not the case.
Right. And something like this, where it's like so much time has gone by in between like now and the incident, like it's like you just hope that you could find the truth. I mean, how could you possibly like figure out if like what actually has happened? It was 10 years ago, dude, like in a different country. So,
yeah,
I mean, the only thing,
like
Russia, especially.
Yeah, Russia, and all you really have are testimonies from witnesses at this point, right? So it's kind of cool to see, how this is playing out a little bit. Obviously, in Panarin's favor, no one wants to kind of see him be unsuccessful now, or anything bad like that to happen. God forbid.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No. The other thing on it is just, what was I going to say?
I don't know, dude. What were you gonna say?
What I was gonna say. Oh, you feel like the timing of it is weird, just because, like you said, after he makes these comments, it comes out. It's not like Panarin hasn't been a star in the NHL for a while now. If they were gonna make comments about him and this was gonna get out, it would have gotten out, I feel like, a while ago. So that's, I think, leans to more of Panarin not doing it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It seems like hopefully, it seems like he's being set up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird, dude. Like so weird, and like you think.
I mean, the Russians are fucking crazy.
Yeah,
especially when you can't talk about their government.
I know, dude. Like, what the fuck? And you would think maybe even like
everybody's a rat over there.
The woman like herself, like, or any of her friends that were there would even like talk about it or come forward at all. Like, not like one of his coaches, right. Which is very odd, very strange. Odd. But let's move on to some games tonight. I want to highlight 2 games tonight. One of which would be the Canadiens at Winnipeg. They're playing the Jets tonight. Obviously, it's Montreal's first game back since firing their head coach. It's a pretty good matchup. Canadiens are 4th in the North. Winnipeg is 3rd. I think Winnipeg may be doing a little bit better than we had anticipated. I think Connor Hellebuck has been really showing up, especially when you talk about now Carey Price for Montreal, who hasn't really been producing as much as we wanted to. Gino, what do you think? How do you think the Canadiens are going to be doing tonight?
Well, Carey Price is starting tonight. That is confirmed. So that's we'll see how he does. My guess is that it's probably, I don't know. It's hard because you're going to get the new coach uptick in energy and you'll probably get a good start to the game. But like you said, Connor Hellebuck, I think, which is the key to the Jets, has playing really well. Dubois, since that trade, obviously we remember Liney gets traded to Columbus for Dubois, and which was a crazy trade to begin with. But they've been playing really well, and it seems like he fits in well there. I'm going to go probably with the Jets probably pulling this one out, just because I feel like it's been a crazy, hectic couple of days for the Canadiens, and I feel like it's a quick turnaround with a new coach. And I think they'll play hard, but I think they probably get a loss in this one, and then maybe when they come back on Saturday, they get the win.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like you said, it is a quick turnaround since changing their head coach and everything. So I'm going to go Winnipeg as always against the Canadiens. So go Winnipeg.
And I'm always going to go with the Jets. So
love it.
The Canadiens have 4 games against Winnipeg here over the next 5. So
Oh wow, okay. So interesting. We'll see how they do. I mean, obviously, maybe they'll lose.
Is that a normal scheduling thing to play that many games in a row like that?
No, so they're kind of sticking within the division, right? Because
okay.
So like North Division with all the Canadian teams.
Oh,
right, dude.
Yeah, so a little different this year.
Yeah, a little different.
And I think they're traveling out to Winnipeg, and then on the way back they're hitting the Senators, or they on the way back because Winnipeg's like in the middle of Canada, I guess. So they're traveling out to Winnipeg, and then they get the Senators and 2 games against Winnipeg at home next week.
Has his geography down. Real nice. Yeah. The second game I want to highlight tonight is the Bruins Islanders, actually. Bruins are at Nassau tonight. And it's pretty funny because I think like when the season first started, we were talking about like our picks from each division, and we all kind of picked the Bruins to kind of not do so well this season, dude. Because they're like an older team, like they had they have a few younger guys who are kind of inexperienced, but they're fucking killing it, dude. Between like Brad Marchand is killing it as always. David Pasternak has been killing it. Tuukka Rask is doing great.
Devils beat them.
I think the Devils handed them one of their losses. Yeah. It's actually funny you mentioned that because the Islanders handed them their other 2 regulation losses, which is why I kind of wanted to highlight this, because the Islanders are 5th in the East. Bruins, like I mentioned, are 1st in the East. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, for some reason, the Islanders just have the Bruins number. Halak is back in goal for the Islanders. Pajot has scored 2 of the 3 goals the Islanders have had against them. And it's funny, Brock Nelson has talked about like there's something about when they play the Bruins, dude. They're quick on the forecheck. They cause turnovers in the neutral zone, which they have been, which led to Pajot scoring. And they just, I don't know, there's just something about it. When they play the Bruins, they kind of step up. And it's gonna be a big game for the Islanders if they want to kind of climb up a little bit in the rankings. So, Gino, what do you think?
I mean, the Bruins have been fantastic, and they're in first place with 2 games in hand over the next closest team, the Capitals, who have 18 games played. They've played really good defense, by far the best defense in the East Division. The Islanders, and the problem with the Islanders, they play very good defense as well. It's just they got to find the net. Obviously, the way Barry Trotz likes to run his teams, very defensively minded, very tight on defense, but it's kind of a boring game, and it leads to not as much scoring. 44 goals scored this year for them. It's gonna come down to them putting the puck in the net now. Obviously, they're playing good enough defense. On the Bruins side, I mean, they've just been playing well on every side of the puck. And every part of the game, they've been playing really well. So I would imagine, as games go on, and obviously you said the Islanders beat them twice. I would imagine as these games go on, you'll start to see the Bruins start to figure something out here. And I would imagine the Bruins have been watching a lot of tape, and they come out and they get the win in this one.
So you got Boston tonight?
Yeah.
Wow, dude, Yankee fans
siding
with Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with the New York.
I was gonna say I would imagine most everyone here, I'm going against Boston. But I'm gonna also go against Boston too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Islanders tonight, dude. I mean, you beat them twice. Like, I don't know, dude. I think they're gonna hand them their 4th regulation loss tonight.
One thing to watch out for too. Obviously, the Bruins had to travel all that distance out to Lake Tahoe, all the way back. Obviously, much more travel. I think the distance that they had to travel to Lake Tahoe and back is more than the distance that they'll have to travel the entire season put together. Other than that trip, so that maybe a little jet lag. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe I could see that. And also, the Bruins are missing David Krejci and Miller tonight too. So a couple injuries, dude. I don't know. I think dude. Never know, bro. If I would have placed any bets on it, Islanders.
But
looking forward to that.
Yeah. They're looking forward to those games tonight, dude.
On the NHL, and we're gonna just take a quick break and get Grasso in here to talk some NBA.
We'll be right back. Everybody, stay tuned.
Peace. Good job, bad job, dude.
She fine with it, yeah. Don't let them say different, yeah. Study working hard for that bankroll. 5'5", my type is well known. Bad bitch, big bank, that's a combo. Shorty worth $1 million when she throw that back.
Throw that ass back like a quarterback. Gotta grab it on her chest like a heart attack. Hey, she want all her ass. Big bills, I got her that. She call me daddy, you cannot have your daughter back. Voicemail ain't calling back. Love the way she be crawling back. Yeah, she ain't fucking with no broke boy, she got a bag. Hey, Gucci bag, you know, about to get a 2 more. When you clock out, baby, I got the 2 door.
Come here, baby, you mine. Let's not waste no time. I ain't come for no fights. I'm not here for one night. So throw that ass back. Throw that ass back. Throw that ass back. Throw that ass back. I ain't here to waste your time. I'm here for
And he
good.
just makes it back in time.
Did he though? Did he?
I'm not only saying because
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him.
Let's tell you. I think he was a little late. 3 seconds? I don't know.
I think I got it.
What's going on, everybody? We are back.
Ready
Welcome
to talk
back,
some
guys.
basketball.
Yeah,
Grasso,
NBA,
good
baby.
to have you back.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Last night, another interesting night in the NBA, and we'll start with a game that we actually previewed yesterday. Warriors and Pacers, close all the way, but in the end, the Warriors come on top 111-107, and the struggling ways, continue for the Pacers. And this really seems like, to me, a blown opportunity. Steph goes 1 of 11 from 3-point range, and you lose by 4. I mean, nobody would have predicted that before the game.
Right? They did all the things that we talked about. Like, if you do these things, you'll win. They did them all, and they just couldn't pull away. It's like, I feel that's kind of the problem with Indiana is they don't have anyone on their team that can kind of take over and just get points and score. Like Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis are both borderline all-star players, but they're like high-end role players in a way. So,
Yeah,
I mean, the Pacers need that guy that could just put it in the hoop and take over a game and help your team go on like a little 10-0 run or like a 15-2
like a James
run.
Harden type of
Yeah,
guy.
just someone
Yeah.
that could score, a scorer.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of piggyback off that, like the starters played really
Okay.
well last night for Indiana. All of them were in
screen,
double
you could just
figures
look at
except
the
for Drew Holiday. I'm sorry, not Drew Holiday. Justin, yeah. Oops.
The one
yeah,
holiday
man,
not
dude,
on the
and,
Pacers.
and yeah, right.
Don't pay
And
attention.
like you talking about Sabonis before, 22 points for him last night. Brogdon 24 points. So it was a good game, close game. 111 and 107 ended up being the final for Golden State. But yeah, man, it's just Pacers the Warriors just outlasted them.
And Indiana's definitely missing TJ Warren because
Yeah,
he is someone that can
absolutely.
just score.
Yeah.
Like
And,
that's one of those guys.
Karis LeVert, if he was there,
I know,
that
can
would
you
make a big
imagine?
difference.
Yeah.
And then, just on the Warriors side, Gino, were you impressed that they come out with this win and it really was just a team effort? Nobody really dominated the game for them?
Yeah, I mean, if you get Draymond playing like that every night, and then some of the other role players playing like that every night, they'll be back to the Warriors, of old. Because if Steph's scoring 24 and they're winning a game against a good Pacers team, like you said, obviously missing some players like Karis LeVert and TJ Warren, but really good. Like you said, it was a team effort. You get 24 from Steph, who leads the way, but you get 13 from Pascal, 11 from Wiseman, 17 from Oubre, 15 from Wiggins, and then 12 from Draymond. If you could spread the offense out that much and when Steph's doesn't have it, that's really good. So from the Warriors perspective, this is a really good win for them. From the Pacers, like you said, obviously a bad win. The one thing about TJ Warren, or bad loss, excuse me. The one thing about TJ Warren too, he plays really good defense, so that would help too. So definitely definitely missing him on that side of the ball as well.
Yeah, and the Warriors, great contributions from Eric Pascal last night, towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
I feel like if you go to 2 years at Villanova, you're going to be a good NBA
Yeah, look
player.
at Josh Hart.
Always
He's another
fair.
solid.
Mikal
fair,
Bridges,
yeah.
there's a long list of them.
Yeah.
But
Kyle Lowry actually way back.
Lowry,
in the
yeah.
day.
This
Yeah.
guy, Philly
Yep.
guy, come to Philly,
Yeah.
Kyle. Come to Philly, Kyle, please. But to just touch on the Warriors, man, watching Steph Curry and Draymond Green play together, it's like they know exactly what each other are doing at all times. I mean, they've been together for like 6 years
Yeah, I
or
was
so
gonna say,
now.
yeah.
It's probably more actually. They've been
But
really good together for like 6 or 7
Yeah,
years.
Draymond is animal last night, man. I mean, he
Yeah.
almost trouble, dude.
Yeah, he
12,
just settling into
11,
that
9.
role is, he does, like we said, he doesn't care about scoring. He just wants to distribute, get as many
Yeah.
rebounds
Yeah.
as possible, and just be an annoying pest to the other team.
Yeah.
Four for
Every
5
night.
from the field.
And then, the Pacers, like we said, now they're 500 on the year. Important games coming up. They got to play the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Sixers. So that's some big Eastern Conference matchups.
Trip for them.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with them. You have a lot of talent. What were you going to add, Gino?
I will say that this Pacers team, while this year may not end up doing too much, they're very well set up for the future with Sabonis, Miles Turner, Brogdon, TJ Warren, Karis LeVert, if he can get back on the court, they're very well set up for the future. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform in years to come. I don't think this is their year, but maybe in the next couple of years, they'll be up near the top of that Eastern Conference.
Yeah. If you look at the Pacers as a whole, they've been competitive, I don't know, since I've been born.
Yeah.
Since the 90s, probably before, who knows? They've always been competitive. They're always kind of middle of the road in the East.
Yeah.
That's a good organization you got there.
And the cast changes, the coach changes, but the results don't change.
Right.
So
It's kind of been the same old story with him for the last, like Ross was saying, 20, 30 years.
And another thing, like, what big name free agent wants to go to Indiana and go live in the cornfields? No,
and not that he's performed well in the playoffs, but you kind of think, what if this team had Paul George? If he had never left, would they be at the top of the conference?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll never know. But
then they wouldn't have had Sabonis, Oladipo, and what they got.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So
tons of what ifs.
We'll see what happens with both teams. And then another game last night that was actually really exciting. And, going into it, you figure, Suns Hornets. I mean, Suns should, take it at least decently. And in the end, Hornets 124, Suns 121, big upset for the Hornets. And this was, you want to talk about a complete team effort. 3 20-point scores, 6 in double digits. LaMelo Ball, another great performance. And Malik Monk, a guy you kind of forget about, 29 points.
Kentucky kid, right?
Yeah.
Monk?
Yeah. I mean, were you guys really, surprised about this?
The one reason I'm not surprised, just because it's, middle of the year, regular season game, anything could happen. To speak on Malik Monk, every single year up until this year, I'd be like, this is the year this guy's going to score 20 a game.
Yeah. We always knew he could shoot the 3-ball well.
Yeah, he's capable. And, I mean, he hasn't done it at an efficient or a consistent level in the NBA. But he still is young, so, you like seeing these games. But I feel like at this point in his career, he's one of those guys that's going to come off the bench, give you nights like these every once in a while. But that's kind of where he is. I mean, LaMelo Ball played great last night. And, we all, ragged on Charlotte for giving Gordon Hayward all that money. But Gordon Hayward's been really good for that team.
And you feel like he's one of their big leaders on the team. His experience is, valuable.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, I like the in that starting lineup, the 3 guys of, Ball, Rozier, and Hayward, dude. So I think that's like 3 solid key pieces, for Charlotte. And then, dude, it's kind of like what we were saying the other night, where like anybody can win on any given night.
Oh,
in the
of
NBA,
course. And especially a team with talent,
right,
offensive
exactly.
talent.
And they're so young too.
Yeah.
Charlotte, I think they got a bright future.
And after struggling so long under Michael Jordan, owning the team, Gino, were you impressed by this victory?
I think speaking on Malik Monk, I'm kind of in the same page as you guys, where I completely forgot he even existed. So really good from him. But I think the one thing with the Hornets is that, this isn't the first time they've done this season. They have a lot of talent. They beat the Bucks by 12 earlier in the season. They beat the Nets at the very beginning of the season. They've kept it close with the 76ers a couple times. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Warriors recently. So it's not like they can't be good teams. So, I mean, I think they're showing that they're like moving in the right direction. Obviously, with LaMelo Ball on your team and Gordon Hayward, Malik Monk, those type of players will change a game for you. And obviously they did in this one. But I think they're moving in the right direction. I think that they have the capability of doing that. They're just not consistent enough to do it on a night, an every night basis. I think probably need a couple more pieces, just, role player wise. But hey, I mean, that's a really good win. Obviously, the Suns put up 121. They scored enough. You get a 33 out of Devin Booker. You get, 20 out of Chris Paul. So
this,
9.
Yeah, 8.
I mean, offensive wise, they were good, but defensively got to be a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think I take away from this game, more about the Hornets and the Suns. I mean, the Suns have been so hot. They have one bad defensive game. I mean, that doesn't matter. We they're one of the top teams. But Hornets, I think they're going to make the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference.
I would like to see them honestly make the playoffs. And like I said, I think the future's bright there in Charlotte.
I mean, I'd love to see LaMelo Ball play as much as possible.
Yeah,
so
same.
bring him in the playoffs.
Same.
But something the Suns that killed them last night is they lost the free throw battle bad. In a 3-point game, they were 19 for 27, where you see Charlotte 25 of 27.
Yeah.
So
that's
there's the game right there.
3-point game, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was entertaining. And then
JPO says build up Bridges up more.
Bridges is going to be that guy that flows with LaMelo Ball for a long time.
And then the other Bridges on the Suns is pretty good too.
Yeah, I'm about to say which Bridges.
True,
Doing this one.
They're not related, but both of them.
And then, unfortunately, to give JPO some credit here, last night the Jazz 114-89 over the Lakers.
He does say, Tam, you like the Jazz?
No, I do not. JP.
You like jazz?
Wasn't even close, and that really surprised probably all of us here because we had picked the Lakers. And then after the game, Markieff Morris actually called out the Jazz, saying it's not going to be the same in the playoffs, and that kind of just threw me off a little bit, just because Morris hasn't really had a good year. He's not one of their best players. Like, kind of, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Markieff Morris, you're straight doo doo. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Not even the best member in your family.
Your brother's back.
I can't even tell them apart.
I'll tell you what, dude,
they have the same tattoos and everything.
With the Lakers, bro, like, obviously a Lakers fan, they got to get a win, dude. Like, it's 4 in a row now. And I didn't think it would be – I know the schedule's been a little bit, rough these last few games. Obviously, without Anthony Davis, too. I just didn't think that, we'd lose 4 in a row from when he went down. So, clearly – dude, now with him out, we've been talking, JaVale McGee's name's been floating around here, bro. Maybe bring back McGee, dude.
JaVale McGee's going everywhere.
Dude.
Clone that man.
But and then one thing,
give me a clone of McGee in LA, please.
We don't think about it as much as that Schroeder's been out with
safety. When he comes back, it'll stop the bleeding.
He's gonna play big when he comes back.
He's their third scorer, and he's the guy that does it with the ball. So, that's a big loss. I'm not worried at all about the Lakers. Like, I'm going back to
they're going to destroy the Jazz in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they will. Yeah,
I think so.
We could tell Markieff Morris to shut up, but he is right. Like, Lakers Jazz in the playoffs, is probably going
healthy
5
LeBron,
games,
healthy AD,
6 games maybe.
Yeah.
I love Utah. They move the ball great. They're coached great.
They also, another fun fact, guys, they have the easiest schedule out of any team in the second half
for the rest of the way to go, right?
Wow.
Here on out.
Wow.
So
they could be one of those teams that has a historically, great record,
and then lose in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
to either the
like
Lakers
Dallas.
or
Remember
the Clippers?
Dallas when they lost to the fun Golden State,
fun team
Johnny
with
Nelson,
Steven
coach.
Johnny Nelson with Josh Richardson and Baron Davis.
Jason Richardson. He was one of the best dunkers of the early 2000s.
That was insane when that happened.
Honestly,
Steven Jackson was on that team.
Yeah,
Jason Richardson is like only a hair under Vince Carter for greatest
dunking.
dunker of all time.
Oh yeah.
Jason Williams
dude,
put on some shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
And Gino, we didn't have you on yesterday, but were you really surprised by this Jazz victory, or do you feel like not really, just because AD's out? What do you expect, type of thing, or?
I think the most surprising thing was the fact that Donovan Mitchell didn't really play that well, and they still managed to win by however much they won. I can't do quick math right now, but the fact that Donovan Mitchell didn't play well, and they still won by that much is, I think, a good sign for them. But I think you're right with I think AD obviously is a huge loss, but Dennis Schroeder doesn't get enough credit for as big of a loss as that is as well. I think he's, you could tell yesterday that if they had Schroeder yesterday, it would have been a much different game, just because, him bringing up the ball, it just looked like they were out of sorts, and just get Schroeder on the ball and have him in the game. I think that would help them tremendously. So obviously not worried. I'm not going to be worried. If the Lakers go, 42-30, make the playoffs as a 7 seed, I'm not worried. They're going to make it to the, they'll make it to at least the conference finals. I don't think that the regular season matters.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, I obviously agree, but it's just, as a fan, it's annoying to lose 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Also, why is Montrezl Harrell not starting?
Yeah, I
And
think
why
they.
is Marc Gasol starting?
I think they like Harold.
They need him off the bench though, scoring and shit.
But
I know,
Gasol,
but like,
I would
ugh.
wave Gasol honestly.
Dude,
It's
he's
just-
terrible.
We talked
bro. I know he's
about
older,
him not
but, like,
moving.
man,
and,
oh man, dude.
He's got to go play with
He
his
looks like
brother.
he's 90 years old out there,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. No,
He's
it's
getting hit like this, bro. It's like, dude.
it's bad. But like we said, I think they're gonna make a couple moves, and we're not worried about them. You have two of the best players in the league.
But
and, AD get healthy, of course.
And Gino talked about Donovan Mitchell not playing too well. He wasn't playing too well. He decided to get his teammates involved, and we've seen Donovan Mitchell do a lot this year. He's turning into more than just a scorer, which coming into the league, we thought Donovan Mitchell of a scorer.
And a shooting guard, really.
Yeah, he's turned into a much more of an all-around player, and that's really what separates stars from superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're seeing Donovan Mitchell and who we just mentioned before, Devin Booker, like those are the two guys I think who are kind of making that jump.
Yeah.
So that does bode well for the Jazz going into the playoffs to have a guy like Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jazz have a solid team.
They're still going to lose.
Yeah.
JPO wants to know,
Right.
do the Lakers take this time to rest LeBron?
No, LeBron doesn't rest.
Here you go, March. I don't see the reason to do
No,
that.
LeBron. If LeBron wants to rest, he rests.
Yeah,
if he wants to
if he
play, he
needs rest,
plays.
he'll
He'll
But
say it if he
like
needs it.
like we said, no reason really to worry about the Lakers. This is just a tough stretch. They'll get through it.
No,
And-
LeBron needs to stay out there and get his team a W.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how about
exactly.
that?
And speaking of another, struggling team, the Celtics yesterday,
Oh, my God.
15-point loss to the Hawks, and former Knick Danilo Gallinari,
Went
10
off,
three-pointers,
Pulling up from
38
fucking
points.
half court.
Listen, if you're Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you're two big wings who are supposed to be two of the best defensive wings in the league, and you let Danilo Gallinari score 38 points on you, that's pathetic. And
I mean,
I think they got
Jason
more problems.
Kobe would not be.
they
happy
got
with
some
that.
problems. Tatum and Brown think they're like mega stars already. No
know.
one's listening to Brad Stevens. These
Yeah.
guys aren't trying at all on defense, on offense either. Standing around, no one fights over screens. They're not talking. There's no communication. No one's trying hard. Honestly, that falls back on the coach to me. No one's having fun.
Yeah.
And
I
we
agree.
talked about
I
that
agree.
yesterday.
And it just
His
looks
voice
bad.
getting stale.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think that was a really good point.
I-
I think his voice is stale, and they're not listening to it. And I think there's something going on there
Yeah.
with like Tatum and Brown. They have like there's got to be some sort of like maybe egos butting heads in there in that locker room. But there's something, dude. They're not clicking like you were saying, dude. I mean, they keep getting
Yeah.
smacked over and over again.
I was watching
last few
Kendrick
games,
Perkins talk about this earlier this morning. He was
Yeah.
just mentioning guys like Daniel Tice pulling up for three with 16 left on the shot clock.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you do that, you don't respect your coach. And it's not
Yeah.
just him, though. It's
That was the only
it's
three-pointer he
Tatum
took,
chucking
too.
up shot and Tatum and Brown not wanting to move the ball
Yeah.
around. And like, if you're the coach, you got to get out there and start yelling at those guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, I'm right with you. Gino, what do you think? You think Stevens is in trouble?
I mean, yeah, I when watching the Celtics Dallas game the other day, they had a graphic up that I think he's like the fourth longest tenured coach in the NBA right now, behind Popovich, Terry Stotts, and Carlisle. So that's obviously a big that's you can see it getting stale in that locker room. But yeah, I mean, Jaylen Brown only had 17 points, Tatum had 13. Like, the Hawks aren't a great defensive team. Like, they should have been able to get theirs. It's I couldn't really tell you what the problems are, but I know JPO right here talking about Kemba. I mean, Kemba, we've talked about him multiple times. He just hasn't worked out the way that they would have liked him to work out. And I mean, maybe they do need to get rid of him or try and shop him or something like that. I don't know, but they've got some problems there when their stars are scoring 17 and 13 against the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
And you give up, obviously Trey, on Atlanta's side, like Trae Young doing his thing, 33 points.
Yeah,
seven
just let
assists.
him get 60. It doesn't matter as long as the other guys don't get anything.
No, it's just not a good
Look,
team
if-
effort.
no,
If I'm Danny Ainge, I have been looking for the Brad Stevens replacement. And Brad Stevens, to me, he's a great X to the nose guy. He's a great coach. Like, we're not questioning that, but he's not a great leader when it comes to the NBA. Like, you got grown men and he's trying to discipline them and they just don't care anymore. And you could tell, and they're not having fun. Like, me and Mike have played on teams where like people didn't get along. You don't like the coaches and stuff. It's just not fun. You don't win. You don't play as well. So I think Boston, they need a change.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a chemistry issue, and it'll be interesting to see, if they can recover from this or not. And then, looking forward to tonight, we have a couple good games, and we'll start out with Gino's Mavs are visiting Philadelphia.
You ready for this, Gino? You ready for this, Gino?
Oh, I am ready.
I want to start with
Embiid has already pitched his tent in the lane.
This is the thing. Yeah, I hope KP doesn't play. I hope he doesn't play. There is no way on God's green earth we come even close to 15 points in this game if KP played. There's no way. I'd rather just
Cauley Stein at him, right?
Yeah, just platoon Boban, Cauley Stein. Just keep throwing the different center out there every 5 minutes. It's not going to matter. Like, literally, KP is going to hurt us. He'll give up. Embiid will score 40 tonight if KP plays. I promise you.
And I did see originally he was listed as questionable. Now they're actually saying he's doubtful. So I would guess at that point, then he's probably not going to play, which, like you said, will probably be an advantage because he can't guard Embiid in the paint whatsoever.
No way. And they're already going to have troubles here to begin with. But, the fact, like, this is the exact opposite of a matchup that helps the Mavs. They don't have anybody who can guard Embiid well enough to keep him under 30, I feel like. And you just know Seth Curry is going to come and just he's going to light up the Mavs. This screams, I could see the Mavs losing this one like 130 to 110. Like, I don't see, they're going to have to play really good defense.
Well, on that note too, Seth Curry is missing tonight as well.
Oh, really?
Okay. Okay.
Just ruled him out.
Oh, if you saw probable, then
okay. This was earlier. I didn't know if he's on my fantasy team. That's why. I'm hoping he's playing.
I'm playing too.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, like I think the Sixers offense will be too overwhelming for Dallas defense. Honestly tonight.
Yeah, him, Harris, Simmons, and Embiid. I mean, that three. Dallas. I mean, really, the only guy to match them scoring wise is Luka, obviously.
Right,
so it's just you don't want to get in the other.
Yeah, the other problem is when we talk about Luka, he's great, he's fantastic, he's an all-star, he's probably going to go on to be one of the best in the league, but defensively, probably that's where he struggles the most. And you got Josh Richardson to play defense, Dorian Finney-Smith, but they need that third guy to step up. Like, he needs to step up and play defense well, and then they need to protect the paint. I just think that the Sixers are too much for them tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of defense, I'm interested to see Simmons guarding Doncic. And how much trouble he can cause for Luka. Like, if I'm a Sixers fan or if I'm Doc Rivers, like, I want to see Luka frustrated as all hell in the fourth quarter by the end of this game. I want Simmons all over him.
Well, you would hope that covering the paint, Embiid will cover the paint well enough where he's not able to get in the paint. And basically, if I'm Simmons out, I'm just running him right into Embiid and then forcing him to pass the ball because he's going to try and get in the lane. And then yeah, if he beats you from the three-point line, he beats you from the three-point line. He hasn't been shooting the three that well this year, although the past couple games he has been. But you can't let him get in the lane because if he gets in the lane and gets his points in the lane, then it's kind of over. Well, at least from a Luka perspective.
And on to the picks for this game. It sounds like you're gonna go with the Sixers here.
Yeah, I think they're too dominant down low with their size. Yeah, Philly all day.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Philly. I think Embiid's going to go for like 40 and like 15.
Yeah, and I like to go with different picks sometimes, but this is just one of those. I just can't see it. I really just can't see it. I think Embiid 40 and 20 tonight. What do you think?
That's the other thing. The Mavs are so bad at grabbing defensive rebounds. They give up second chance points like it's like nothing. It's like it's just second chances after second chances. So it's the most frustrating thing in the world because it's like just box out. It's like one of the most fundamental things in basketball. But they just give up so many second chance points, and I just see, like you said, Embiid going for big scoring total tonight, and you can just see them get tons of second chance points. Like I said, I'm going to go with probably 15, 20 point victory for the Sixers.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Sixers too. Brian and I were talking about it yesterday or earlier. I can't remember, but who's going to guard Joel? Powell? Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Willie Cauley-Stein?
Yeah. He's going to be one of the greatest centers ever.
Yeah, like what?
But it's still looking forward to just watching that game for the star power. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm very excited for this game tonight.
Should be fun to watch. And another game that I'm really looking forward to, the Pelicans are actually visiting Milwaukee. And this is an interesting game. The Pels, after struggling, they have the big comeback against the Celtics. And then, they beat Detroit. Of course, Detroit's not good, but win's a win, especially, when you're playing in the Western Conference. So kind of a big game for both teams. The Bucks now on a 3-game winning streak after losing 5 straight. What do you guys see, in this matchup?
I don't know. I think honestly, Milwaukee will kind of continue on this trend and pull out a win tonight. But I'm looking for on Milwaukee side of things, like Giannis, obviously to be the beast that he is, along with obviously Drew Holiday to do his thing, at the point, and then Pelicans, dude, love that team, man. It's like a lot of former Lakers obviously on that team, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, Josh Hart, very very talented, very young team, trending in the right direction, I would say. But tonight, I just think Giannis will be too much for them, to be honest. So that I'm gonna go with Milwaukee tonight.
And one thing before we get to you, Grasso, I'm really looking forward to seeing Giannis and Zion in the paint battling it out. I mean, that's going to be primetime TV.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just gonna say, I'm ready for those guys to meet in the air and smack and see which one. Because those two dudes are the most super unsuperhuman or superhuman, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I think the Bucks are going to steamroll them, though. I think Giannis is better than Zion. And Drew Holiday is still out, but the Bucks, they got enough guys. And they got Giannis.
Yeah.
Holiday's out there.
In this 3-game winning streak, it's been against teams that aren't good, but anytime you could get a winning streak, that just changes the whole attitude of the team.
It changes the locker room. It changes everything.
Gino, what do you see here?
I think it'll be interesting to see Zion and Giannis in the paint as well. I feel like Giannis is a little too quick. I'm not sure that the Pelicans have many people that can guard him. So getting in the paint, he'll probably be able to get in the paint. I would think, obviously, Zion will put up a fight, but I think he can get his tonight. But I don't know. I'm feeling the Pelicans tonight. I'm going to ride the little streak they got going in here, the Celtics in Detroit. I'm going to ride a little bit and go with the Pelicans. Maybe Zion drops 30 and they win. Josh Hart gets 20.
One thing the Pelicans can do is, put Zion on Giannis.
Just frustrated on defense. Yeah.
You got Steven Adams waiting under the hoop. And Zion and Steve Adams.
And then not to mention Willie Hernan Gomez, who's had a couple of big games. The former Knicks.
Look at Mike over there.
Fucking Nick Legend.
So Gino's going to go with the Pelicans. Who you guys got?
I got the Bucks. I think it's going to be a close game, though.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I'm going to actually go with the Pelicans. I think those last 2 wins were big for their momentum, and I'd like to see them continue to, rise up the standings. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you. Zion's going to show who's the real Thanos of the league.
Yeah, so I think it'll definitely be an entertaining game, and I'm excited to watch. And before we get to Gino on some soccer, just a couple quick notes I happened to come across. First, continuing with basketball, trade rumors on Kyle Lowry possibly going to the Sixers, with the Heat and Clips listed as secondary teams. What do you guys think about that?
No, I mean, it's probably time for Toronto to move on from Lowry. I think both parties have run its course. So those are interesting teams. We got what'd you say?
The Sixers, Heat, and Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, Sixers would be
solid. I would love for Kyle Lowry to come to the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to trade someone big though to make that happen salary wise. So Ben Simmons, trade Ben Simmons for Lowry and Van Fleet, and I don't know. I don't know how the Sixers really make that happen though without giving away Seth Curry and some of these other guys, which I don't think it's worth
draft picks unless it's more than if it's one. All right, but a couple first rounders for Kyle Lowry,
or if they give up Tobias Harris, that would not be smart. I was going to say before too, I thought Tobias Harris should have been an all-star over Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I'm really sounding like a Ben Simmons hater today, but I don't hate him that much.
Gino, do you see a deal getting done with one of these teams?
I mean, I'm going to sound like even more of a Ben Simmons hater. I say if you're going to get Kyle Lowry, Ben Simmons has got to be going out, right? I mean, you're going to take Kyle Lowry on. He's going to handle the ball. What are you going to do with Ben Simmons? He can't do anything then. He's basically useless. So, like, I would think,
real player, Ben Wallace.
Yeah, like just get Ben Simmons out of there if you're going to trade for Lowry. Again, I don't know how it gets done. It's going to be a crazy trade if it does get done, but it's going to take a lot of different pieces going a lot of different places, clearly. But I think it would be fun to see Kyle Lowry in Philly. Obviously, like we mentioned before, he's from Philly, or he went to school in Villanova. He's from Philly. Yeah, so he's from Philly. So that'd be cool.
Yeah,
On the playgrounds where he spent most of his days.
Do you see this happening, Mike? Lowry maybe to the Sixers, or?
I don't know. Like you said, are they willing to give up Ben Simmons? There's going to be a lot of backlash from Sixers fans that are not like Grosso, who love, Ben.
Just having him there.
They love Ben Simmons. But I don't know. Do you really want Lowry on the end of his career right now? Are you trying to go all in right now, Grosso?
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. If you're going for Lowry, if you're trading Simmons for Lowry, that means you want to win now, maybe next year.
But I feel like you need Siakam with them to make that
Oh
fair.
They can't afford it, though. That's the thing.
The salaries,
the salaries.
Probably something that doesn't get done, but
maybe a 3-team deal works out.
Interesting to keep an eye on, for sure.
We'll definitely keep you guys updated.
And then one other trade rumor we're here today, Russell Wilson, his agent saying he doesn't want to get traded, but then he's listing the Bears, the Raiders, same as possible destination. I mean, what's to make of this?
I don't think they like that guy, huh? I don't think people like Russell Wilson in that locker room.
It's funny because Mike and I were talking about this earlier. I feel like, dude, since that Super Bowl, bro, New England, it's just been downhill for Seattle, bro. So,
and there was something with Golden Tate in the locker room years ago.
Yeah,
I think something with Russell Wilson's ex-wife. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, but interesting if they move Russell. I mean, dude, they were mentioning the Jets earlier too, somehow, some way.
No, I think that's all. He didn't. I guess he didn't list them on his list.
Yeah, and he has the no trade clause.
Yeah,
so he's not going to.
So he doesn't want to go there. Fuck him. We don't need him. He's 33 anyway.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
He's 33. How much longer does he really have?
He's just kind of tired of Seattle. Like that, I don't think they have as good as a relationship with.
I mean, and Seattle sucks.
It's always raining.
Yeah, it's always. Do you know there's the most suicides there in all of the land? Of America.
Gino, what do you think about this?
I think I know reports have come out that he had he stormed out of a meeting after the coaching staff kind of dismissed his offensive ideas for changing the game plan moving forward after I think a loss on Thursday night to the Cardinals. So I mean, I guess if that's true, obviously shows some divide, and you would imagine some of it's true because that doesn't come out if at least part of it's not true. But he also gets sacked. He gets sacked more than any other quarterback in the NFL. And I can imagine after years and years of that happening that he's kind of frustrated and wants to go to a place that, maybe doesn't happen. Obviously the Raiders have a pretty good offensive line. Cowboys have always had a pretty good offensive line. So, I mean, you could see those teams, obviously the Bears give him a chance with their defense. And so it'll be interesting. I don't think he ends up getting traded in the end. I don't think it ends up happening because I don't know. It just seems just not seeing Russ in Seattle seems weird, but yeah, you can, I guess there's a little bit of possibility there. Who knows?
Yeah. And one thing here, and it's kind of funny to say, cause they've been so consistent all these years, but I think they have kind of blown it in a sense. I mean, one Super Bowl with the roster they had when they had all those guys on defense, they let them go. And I just feel like, honestly, how is John Schneider still the general manager? I don't think he's made good moves the last couple years.
He might be on his way out too. Before,
and who knows? Maybe even Pete Carroll. So a lot to.
And who knows? Even maybe the water boy.
A lot to.
Tony could be the new water boy.
Tony would be great at that.
A lot to be determined there. We'll see what happens. Obviously, any other movement this offseason with the NFL, we'll cover it. Gino, what do you have on soccer?
So it's a big week in soccer because the European playoffs and club playoffs in some sorts, I guess you could call it, were happening. The Champions League happened yesterday and Tuesday. We had some pretty crazy goals this week. We had a couple bicycle kick goals from Olivier Giroud and Chelsea's 1-0 win over Atletico Madrid. And then yesterday, Dele Alli had a bicycle kick goal against Wolfsberg. Not the German Wolfsburg, but a different Wolfsburg. So some pretty crazy goals. Bayern continues to dominate in the Champions League. They win 4-1 over Lazio in their first leg. Man City wins their 19th in a row over Borussia Mönchengladbach. So that's their 19th in a row in all competitions for Man City. They win 2-0. Over in Europa League, some crazy upsets. Young Boys, which is, I believe, a Swiss team, beat Bayer Leverkusen 6-3 on aggregate. So they advanced to the round of 16. And then Slavia Praga beat Leicester City. Yeah, Slavia Praga. They beat Leicester City 2-0, which was a big win for them. So tomorrow we'll have more on kind of games to watch for the weekend. I feel like it'll be a little bit more in depth, but just some crazy stuff from an American perspective too. Young Boys has an American who scored 3 goals in that matchup over the 2 legs. So a lot of good stuff from Americans as well. But again, tomorrow I'll have some more stuff on matchups to watch for the weekend, and we'll go through that.
Yeah, and I think really, I mean, other than that, right? I mean,
That'll do.
What haven't we covered today?
That'll do.
I got
What-
one more final word here.
What do we got?
Last night, they finally named Devin Booker Anthony Davis's
Thank
All-Star
God.
game replacement. And
Yes.
when they came out with the reserves list, and I don't know, then I saw
You almost
Devin Booker
passed
just
out,
snub.
right?
I'm like, wait, he didn't make
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Like I was.
he should have been a
confused for a second.
starter. Honestly,
I don't think he should have been a
Right.
starter, but
Definitely
I mean,
should have been a reserve.
yeah.
yeah, and like seeing Devin Booker turn into like the next Damian Lillard, where he's just going to go through his entire career disrespected.
And the thing with him, he's got that size driving to the paint, so it's harder to defend.
Yeah.
Lillard is more just about quickness, making guys
Well,
miss.
I
He
mean,
can go straight through.
I even mean more on the fact that like Damian Lillard didn't get selected to be an All-Star
Right.
starter. Like he's just been, and
And
Lillard's
having
been
that
snubbed.
Same track.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and just people don't. I don't
Respect
know.
his game as much as
Yeah,
he should.
because
Yeah.
like Booker's not like out in the media like talking
Yeah.
a bunch and stuff.
yeah.
Quiet behind the scenes guy, just like Lillard was, and Lillard kind of got people overlooked him a lot throughout his entire career and still do now. And I feel like Booker's gonna have the same career.
Yeah, no, I see that too. But
especially in Phoenix.
fun
Yeah.
to watch.
I got one thing as well.
What do we got?
Yeah.
Gino?
I got one thing as well. Just on college basketball, moving to the amateurs over there. Michigan, who is obviously coached by former NBA star Juwan Howard, they've been very dominant in the Big Ten, but they have some really, really big games coming up this week. They have Iowa and Luke Garza tonight, and then I think on Saturday or Sunday they have Illinois. Kofi Coburn is the star over there with I think Don Samu is the point guard there. So some really good college basketball on this week if you want to catch it. I think 7 p.m. So in a few minutes, that's when the Michigan Iowa game tips off.
How's the big man doing there? They're freshmen.
At Michigan.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't watched them too much, but I mean, clearly they're playing very well.
Like that. Not know anything about them.
What?
On that note,
Yeah. I think
No,
this is,
because I know they have a freshman big man who's nice, and I remember I saw him play actually last year.
Garza, or are you talking about Michigan?
Michigan's coached by Juwan. Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him next
But
time.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna.
I mean, if you want me to look it up now, I can find it.
Nice to get into college basketball. Once the conference
Tournament's
start.
gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Tournament.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Some diaper dandies.
Yeah.
All right. Gee, love you, dude.
Love
Can't
you,
wait to
bro.
see you on Monday.
Love you guys.
Whenever you're
Yeah,
coming.
I'll be back. I'll be back in the studio next week sometime. So
looking forward
Good
to
people.
it.
Maybe hopefully tomorrow you'll have your room cleaned up too, there, bud.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
tomorrow
we'll
the room will absolutely be cleaned. I promise all the viewers that my room
gonna
will
hold-
not look like a mess.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure,
can't wait to
dude.
see. Maybe you
Audience
do a little
knows, dude.
background setup, make it look nice.
Yeah,
big
well, there's this. I have a behind me. There's like a kind of like a bookcase locker thing. So it's not really much, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
Tony's shaking his head. Says
fair
all
enough.
lies.
Disappointed in you.
but I think that'll do it.
That'll do
And,
it.
looking forward to previewing the AL Central tomorrow, and everybody have